Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve and Larson.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you'll be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Want to give a huge shout out, number one, to the enforcer, Stevie Bradley, for hanging out with us today during our Royal Rumble live reactions. Those are going to be up on the YouTube. So if you want to watch along with us, if you haven't seen it yet, you can do that. Want to give a shout out to young Liam Wagner for hooking me up with my metal vest.
Pretty incredible.
This is incredible. I'm gonna outline this thing in detail over at our Instagram at Steve and Larson.
You might also wait till you get your new titles. Big Red, the Trios title, coming back to Steve. However, but before we started, Jorge D was asking you who the big four of thrash metal are, and who named all four of them. This guy did.
Well, I knew all four of those. I knew those four. I think I probably would have slipped on Slayer, because it was like it's like too obvious. But yeah, I know the other Anthrax, Megadeth, and Metallica. I know. Sure. I know the big four. I'm not a metal guy really, but I know the big. Everybody knows that. Anyways, it's like asking who the Wilburys are, man. Everybody knows that, even if you're not into boomer rock. Anyways, yeah, Big Red's coming home, Larson. But here's the deal. You've made such a stink in the past about me stealing Big Red.
Well, it was it was a huge violation of trust, not just my trust, the Friendo community's trust.
It was the story that kicked off an epic story, the theft of Big Red, and my epic run with it. Takeover is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hold on to Big Red.
Okay.
I will vacate that title. I will cede it back to you.
There's been times. No, you don't have to vacate. It's in the books. Here's the thing. There's been times where there was, SummerSlam and Payback. They were a week apart. And I'm like, just hold on to the belt. It's not really worth making a trip over there for a week.
But it's in the books that you are the champion.
Yeah.
So until Takeover. God, isn't there like another pay-per-view? Let's see. Takeover's on the 14th.
Takeover. And then there's
the 27th is an Elimination Chamber?
No, Chamber's 21st.
That's a week later.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just hang on to it. Then whenever you want to complain about me stealing Big Red and denying you your title run.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's over. It's done with.
I'll remember that.
It's done with.
Anyways, so yes, I accurately predicted Bianca Belair coming away as the Rumble winner. You know what? In part, I thought that the writing was on the wall there. However, you can't discount how emotional it was to see that victory. I'm glad I chose her for the Big Red thing, even though I really didn't care about winning Big Red. I was champion a long time. I had a great title run.
Come on, move on.
I was very happy that I picked her so that I could fully celebrate the moment. We were live on stream with like almost 2,000 people. I didn't want to cry like a baby, but I wanted to when I saw her promo afterwards.
Why not?
It's not very metal, and this patch says metal. So I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful moment. I think they excellent job. I'm only sad that fans weren't allowed to be there. That's an absolute bummer.
That and Edge picking up the win in the men's Rumble. Another highly emotional moment, I'm sure, for him. Given just, took him nearly a decade to get back in the ring, had 3 matches, tore his tricep out for almost a year, comes back, goes the distance. Iron Man.
Yeah.
From the one spot to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
And you'd assume he will go on and face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
Not since opponent in singles action. Oh, wait, no. Did Ray did it after him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
Ray
I think
did
Ray did it from the 2 spot.
Okay, yeah, which is so stupid. Why would they have had him out at number 2 when he could have been? Yeah. Yeah, those are the betting favorites for Daniel Bryan were firm and solid. I take those with more of a grain of salt these days, but when you looked at the landscape of what the stories were, that made a lot of sense. When we saw Edge's promo, it brought him up to a top spot as well.
I thought the story they were going to tell was AJ the whole time leading up to the Rumble was crushing people's Rumble dreams, and I thought in the Rumble he will crush at least one person's WrestleMania dreams, either Daniel Bryan's or Edge's. And I thought, well, Edge and AJ are on the same brand; they're both on Raw. That will probably be the Mania match. That's the only reason I went Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. If they had a clean finish on SmackDown of the AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match, and if Daniel Bryan had won that match, I would have went with Edge in the Rumble.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have affected anything for me, simply because we talked about this a little bit prior to the stream or prior to us going live here. AJ crushing dreams, and evidently they didn't really even play out because Ricochet was still allowed into the Rumble. But AJ on this streak of crushing dreams, him being on the same brand as Edge, AJ versus Edge being a potential dream match, it just felt like that was obvious. And sometimes they write these things where sometimes, to their credit, sometimes they get foreshadowing right. Sometimes they do. Yeah. Sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, and even though it seems like there's going to be, a coming together of storylines, that's just in our heads. And maybe I get the idea, and then I run with it, and I'm like, oh yeah, you look for stuff that isn't really there. Yeah. Maybe that's the case. I felt like that was going to be the deal. They're still going hard with Edge versus Randy Orton. There was no sign of The Fiend beyond a little bit of weirdness with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, that was.
There were some moments that the Women's Rumble was the best Women's Rumble I have seen they have put together.
It's one of the best Rumbles I've ever seen put together, period.
Ever's great. There was nobody in there. The surprises were welcome surprises. Victoria, Jillian Hall, they were welcome. Billie Kay had a really great comedic sort of through line with a lot of it, with Peyton Royce and other people, Ruby Riott. A really almost perfectly booked Rumble, but there were some odd choices. Specifically, dude, with Bayley and Bianca Belair. That elimination seemed so underwhelming.
Yeah, it happened roughly in the middle of the Rumble. So Bayley comes out in the 1 spot, Bianca at 3. And the camera doesn't even catch it live. What should be a huge story beat, given they're in the midst of a feud on SmackDown. And then they have to go to replay. But even, there was nothing really dramatic about it. You'd think the fact they are embroiled in a pretty major feud, like, save that, because for the first 10 12 people in the Rumble, they would go back and forth with each other, try to eliminate each other, get distracted, get attacked by somebody else, kind of taken away, then get back to it. And then for a stretch they didn't really interact much, and then you cut to Bayley laying on the mat on the floor. It's like, what? And then Bianca talking crap to her, and they have to go to the replay to show the elimination. But it's like, that's a major story beat. There's drama there that you could use towards the end of the show, to end of the Rumble.
There's a convention in Royal Rumbles that we all know, and it's when there is a special moment. Everybody happens to clear out. They start nursing injuries. They start, recovering from other spots. And the camera, everybody sort of focuses on the 2 people in the middle of the ring. Mm-hmm. This elimination should have been in that moment. Mm-hmm. Again, and we mentioned this because this is a really big story that they have been telling on SmackDown. Yeah. The finish was absolutely terrific. Rhea Ripley really is sort of in the role this year that Bianca found herself in last year. Mm-hmm. The up-and-coming star. She hasn't really debuted on main necessarily yet. This probably was that. And her and Bianca took out Charlotte, who everybody thinks is going to win this thing at that point. And then they go at it themselves with just a dizzying array of
really good. It was
false,
really good.
Eliminations for each other. Mm-hmm. Outstanding booking of this Rumble. Maybe some of the TV direction, but honestly, yeah. Is it a deal? It's a small deal compared to how well the rest of it was booked.
Yeah, there's to be kind of nitpicky about it. There's a couple small things like Nikki Cross in the Rumble. I think she's eliminated before Alexa Bliss is even in it. Just like little things you can do to advance stories.
Yeah.
They didn't do. Again, it's small things. But like the little thing like Ricochet losing his qualifying match essentially and then being in the Rumble anyways.
Yeah.
I'm probably a fill-in for somebody, maybe, I would guess.
Could be
That's
Keith
speculation.
Lee. Could be Keith Lee.
Or Jey Uso. He was announced for the
Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah, Jey Uso as well. Yeah, he has been.
So, it just like some of the internal logic, wasn't there. Some continuity of storylines wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Small things, though, really small details. I don't want to harp on it because it's not worth it. Because on the macro sense, everything else was really good.
It was really good. We'll go through the specific beats here in a second. I want to remind our Twitch chat that's with us live. If you're a new sub, I just sent out the Steve notes so you can follow us along if you want. They're out there, of course. Also, if you're a patron. Or a YouTube channel member. If you have access to Friendo Club TV, man, we do 4 episodes of bonus content every single week, 3 of which are live, 1 of which is old school vintage 10 from the Win from back in our machinima days. You can relive those memories with Friendo Club TV. It's $5 a month on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. It's $5 a month through YouTube channel memberships or by throwing us or being gifted a Twitch sub here during our live broadcasts. You can check that out. Also, we've got a brand new merch drop over at friendomerch.com. I have not. Tomorrow I'm going to do the radio going in raw one. That was the last one that I didn't get a chance to do. So I'm going to do that. But we also have like 5 new shirts there, including Ultimo, Larson, Space Enforcer. I don't know what else. Man. Sweatpants. We got Friendo Club
that's really
sweatpants, which is honestly the only thing you need. They're great. Space Enforcer. Yes. We've got a Wolfpack Red Friendo Club shirt over there at friendomerch.com.
A lot of good stuff.
Check that out.
A lot of good stuff. Let's get into the show. Kickoff show, 1 match, women's tag titles. Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax taking on the champions, Asuka and Charlotte. Before the match, Asuka and Charlotte had an interview. Charlotte was talking about obstacles and getting in her way, and she's not discouraged by it. And then Asuka says Shayna and Nia aren't ready for Asuka and Charlotte. This was another match where Charlotte was booked to be like basically nearly unbeatable. It took a lot.
So like
a lot,
dude. I have seen the criticisms. It has reached a fever pitch with the booking of Charlotte. And I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you guys are just figuring this out. You guys are just." I've noticed it in the past.
I've noticed it for a while. Yeah,
I've noticed it. But she was gone for that spell. I mean, you can kind of see it. You could see it at the Rumble last year when it was Shayna's to win. Shayna should have won that Rumble last year. You could see it against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I mean, come on. And then, especially since she's come back, it's, kicking out at 1 on everything. Tonight with this tag match, run down that finish of that tag match.
All right,
dude.
So let's see. Let's go from here. So Asuka hits a hip attack on Nia and then on the floor, and then Shayna tosses Asuka over the announce table. Charlotte takes him out with the moonsault. So Charlotte puts Shayna in the ring. Ric Flair comes strutting out. Shayna rolls up Charlotte. Charlotte kicks out. Charlotte hits her with a boot. Lacey Evans runs out. Charlotte puts Shayna in the figure 4, and as she bridges up for the figure 8, Lacey goes and sweeps her arms out from under her, so she kind of breaks the hold from there. Charlotte punches Lacey. Shayna puts Charlotte in the clutch. While she's in that and escaping that, Rick hands Lacey like some brass knuckles. And so Charlotte puts the figure 8 back on Shayna. Lacey has to deck her with a loaded women's right. Nia gets the tag in, then has to hit a leg drop. Yeah. And that's how Shayna and Nia got the win.
Yeah, it's a bit on the excessive side, I mean, honestly, it sort of just reminds me of I don't know, man. It reminds me of the worst of when they were booking Roman Reigns. It's the worst of that. It's like you need.
It's just not believable at a certain point.
You can't have somebody that's so ridiculously more overpowered than everybody else. I mean, at least when they did it with Brock was the one guy who was like, oh, it's kind of believable because like, I mean, Brock just had all the credibility in the world, you know?
You know, he was in UFC, won all sorts of huge fights.
And sometimes it was clunky, but, when you beat The Undertaker, it's like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, when you end the streak, there's a certain amount of legitimacy that's bestowed upon you.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. So on the main card, that kicked off with Goldberg challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship.
One point that Louis Rocketman here is mentioning is that Asuka was basically invisible towards the last half of that. Like once she was thrown
over the announce table, and you didn't see her till she comes out.
Ages that she was there.
It was a long time. And so there's a shot of Asuka and Charlotte after the win for Nia and Shayna, and Asuka's kind of like holding Charlotte. And Charlotte's not really selling. She just does this. It's my fault.
It's my fault.
It's my fault.
Yeah, my fault.
She's not like, oh, my head. I got clocked in the face with some brass knuckles and Lacey Evans' finisher plus a leg drop on my head.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, my gosh, I'm hurting so bad.
They're doing a disservice to Asuka, like 100%. Yeah. They have been for a while now. And the sad thing is they're not going to fix it. They're going to take the title off her. Because they are disinterested in Asuka, and they're going to do that. They're going to put the title on somebody else because at this point it's like, okay, yeah, Charlotte versus Asuka at Mania. We know how that's going to go down. Asuka's not going to get a win back because they don't.
She needs to. She needs to.
Yeah.
That's the story. Is should be Asuka finally gets that win over Charlotte. That should be the story.
Yeah.
That should be the story. But probably Charlotte's going to beat her for the belt, and it's going to be Rhea and Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what it's going to be.
We had our Royal Rumble intro. It started off with a bat signal that had RR in it for Royal Rumble. So that's cool. And then it kicked off with Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. I'll be honest, man. I think this is like, as far as Goldberg matches go, this is the perfectly booked match, you know?
This and his match against Brock at Mania 33, where it's 2.5 minutes. It's just a bunch of crazy stuff happening. They don't belabor the point. They don't make him go longer than 3 minutes, and it's easily digestible. Yeah. It covers up Goldberg's weaknesses, and it's just over before it even starts, basically.
And it keeps Goldberg happy to come back because you could tell at the end of the match he was like, "Okay, I'm just glad that went well." You know,
exactly.
You could tell the guy's either he wears his emotions on his sleeve. But anyway, so the match kind of goes down like this if I get this right. So to kick things up before the bell, Drew hits a headbutt. He hits a spear on Goldberg, which is pretty cool. They go to the outside. Goldberg takes over, throws Drew into some steps, and then he spears Drew through the barricade. Goldberg gets back in. Drew is hurt now, so he gets back in. The ref is checking on him. He says, "Ring the damn bell." So they ring the bell. Drew hits Goldberg with a claymore. Goldberg kicks out of that. Goldberg hits one spear, 2 spears. Drew kicks out at 2. Then he gets him up for a jackhammer. Drew kicks out of that. And then Drew hits the claymore for 3. I think I got all the bits there.
Yeah, so it's just Goldberg sets up another spear. Drew dodges that, and then so he runs into the corner. And then, Drew hits the claymore to get the win.
Snare Freak says the official bell time was 2 minutes and 31 seconds. So 2 minutes and 30 seconds is exactly right.
Yeah, no, I think someone in chat during the stream said it was about 2.5 minutes.
Gotcha.
Next up, Carmella versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. They have good chemistry in the ring.
They do.
Carmella has proven that when she's in the ring opposite some of the best women's wrestlers in the world, that she can definitely hold her own. We saw that when she was feuding with Charlotte. She had some really good matches with Charlotte, some good matches with that triple threat with Becky and Charlotte at SummerSlam a few years back was really good. And the 2 pay-per-view matches Carmella and Sasha have been really good too. Of course, Sasha won. Not much of a surprise here. I think we all kind of had most confidence points on this particular bout going Sasha's way. And the finish actually kind of came out of nowhere because Carmella was in control, hit Sasha a couple super kicks, and was kind of pulling her towards the middle of the ring, maybe to go for a pin or something. And Sasha puts bank statement on her, bang, match over.
Yeah.
But everything before, it was a really fun match. It was really fun.
There was fun. Yeah, there was fun stuff with Reginald as well. At one point, Carmella
booted from the ringside.
Yeah, she kicked her off the apron, and then Sasha fell into Reginald's arms, and then she did like a head scissors thing. Yeah, head scissors. Yeah.
Yeah, then the ref tossed Reginald.
You're out of here.
Before the match, there was a Sasha interview where she was like, "Hey, it doesn't matter what the odds are. I always find a way to win. I'm ready for their games." In the end, she's be the one celebrating with the finest champagne made of Carmella's tears.
Ooh, that's gross. Afterwards, backstage, Big E and Xavier Woods have a reunion. They talk about making history, and then, of course, conspiracy theorist Sami Zayn comes in, talks about how everything's a conspiracy, says he has eyes on the back of his head, and then to test that theory, Kofi comes in and screams, "Kofi Kingston's back!" But he's not cleared yet. He's in gear. They had some really awesome looking Brody.
Oh, it was amazing.
Brody Lee gear on. Just looked absolutely beautiful. Kofi comes in. He says, "I'm not medically cleared, but I want to support you guys. Remember, when one of us wins the Rumble, we all win the Royal Rumble."
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh, first we had the Bad Bunny. He performed.
Yeah.
So we'll do this quick. We'll get in more detail at the end. So Bayley started things off. Number 1, Naomi was 2, Bianca was 3, Billie Kay was 4. And at first she takes a seat of commentary. It's like, I'm going to get in the match when I find myself a good partner.
She
so
has,
every time,
her headshots
she had
and resume.
A stack of headshots and resume. So every time someone would come out, she'd go and pitch the idea of, let's be partners. So first it was Shotzi. Shotzi shoots the missile at her.
Heavy, a really heavy NXT in the Women's Rumble, not so much in the Men's Rumble, but it was great to see.
And then next was Shayna. Shayna punches the headshot out of Billie Kay's hand. I think pushes her too.
She chokes her.
Oh, yeah, chokes her. 2-hand choke. That's right. Toni Storm just marches by. The first elimination, Shayna. She eliminates Shotzi. Next, Jillian Hall.
There is a good bit here. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. With dueling hip attacks from Naomi and Toni Storm, both known for their hip attacks. Jillian Hall came out, and Billy asked Jillian Hall if she wanted to join up as allies in this Rumble. Billy and Jillian Hall looks at her, says, "Hey, I like that. That's a good idea." So finally, Billie Kay, along with Jillian Hall, goes in there, and they start working together.
Yeah. Ruby Riot's in at 9. There's a good spot where Billy saves Ruby from taking a suplex from Toni Storm. Victoria in at 10. It was great to see Victoria. Peyton Royce at 11. We get a bit of an Iconics reunion on Victoria. They're about to do the pose, and then Billy sees Ruby, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do the pose anymore." Santana Garrett's in at 12. Liv Morgan at 13.
Yeah, that was cool to see Santana Garrett. I wonder, I think she's been in main roster limbo for ages now. So I don't know. She had some really cool moments. She had she was able to showcase what she had. Maybe it was sort of, hey, let's get her in front of Vince and see, if we can get something for her.
Yeah. Liv Morgan is in at 13, and then Billie Kay eliminates Jillian Hall, and then the Riot Squad eliminate Billy. Rhea Ripley's in at 14. She eliminates Toni Storm. Shayna eliminates Victoria, and then Rhea Ripley eliminates Santana Garrett. Charlotte's in at 15. After that, Bayley eliminates Ruby Riott. Dana Brooke at 16. She goes on a bit of a run. Peyton Royce eliminates Liv Morgan. Tori Wilson at 17.
Good to see her.
Rhea Ripley eliminates Dana Brooke after an apron bomb. Lacey Evans at 18. Charlotte goes right after her. But then Charlotte eliminates Peyton Royce. Shayna eliminates Tori. Bianca eliminates Bayley. But again, we don't even see it until the replay. Really, that should have probably been a more dramatic moment. Anyways, Mickie James at 19. She kicks Lacey Evans on the way in. Nikki Cross at 20. Alicia Fox at 21.
Good to see Alicia Fox too. Yeah,
it was great. Yeah. R-Truth runs out to the ring, gets on the apron, realizes in the wrong Rumble. 24/7 scene runs out. Truth fends them off with Alicia's assistance.
Him and Alicia had a lot of good chemistry there. I want to see Alicia Fox back, man. I don't. She was pretty fun. When they used her right, which is kind of rare, she was really funny.
Yeah. Then Alicia rolls up Truth to win the 24/7 title. Mandy Rose is in. She pretty quickly eliminates Alicia Fox.
Dude, her
Truth rolls her up.
Her knee on, I think was it Alicia Fox or was
that was Alicia? Yeah,
okay,
that was Alicia.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
wow,
she's got a great running knee, dude.
Yeah, she does. And then Truth rolls up Alicia Fox to get the 24/7 title back. Dakota Kai is in at 23. Lacey Evans eliminates Mickie James. Carmella is in at 24. Rhea eliminates Dakota Kai and Mandy Rose. Nikki Cross is on the verge of eliminating Carmella. Reggie catches her, and then Mella super kicks Cross when she gets back in to eliminate her. Tamina's in at 25 while she's making her way down. Carmella sent out of the ring again. Again, Reggie catches her. Tamina super kicks Reggie. He drops Carmella. Carmella's eliminated.
So, like, who officially gets...
Tamina is the one who actually caused the elimination, so I think Tamina would get credit for it.
Yeah, I guess if Amos is getting credit for eliminations in the men's Rumble, which he had, like, what, 2 or 3? I think he had 2.
2 of them, I think.
Good job, Amos.
Then Bianca eliminates Naomi. Nope, she doesn't. Naomi's feet never hit the mat. And so they did this great bit where Naomi... So Bianca kind of leans over to try to like grab her or something, and Naomi grabs Bianca's hair, and she uses it to get her feet up so they're tucked up under the bottom rope.
Yeah.
And then, so she kind of pulls Bianca, so they're both in that position. At first, they're kind of fighting a little bit, and then they were like, okay, this isn't going to work for either of us.
Right.
And so they kind of help each other kind of swing back and forth.
They sort of hold hands, and then, and they swing up, and they're both uneliminated.
Get back in the ring. It was pretty spectacular.
It was pretty rad.
Lana's in at 26, Alexa Bliss at 27. Bliss goes for a brief little run. Everybody else starts beating up on her. While that's happening, the lights start to come down. She's about to start her transformation into Fiend Bliss, and the Rhea just comes up from behind her and tosses her out.
You know, dude, that should have been a moment where everybody freaks out that that's about to happen, and they all gang up to throw her out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because...
I wonder if the kind of the story thing there is like Rhea's not on main roster. She's not aware of what Fiend Bliss is. So she's maybe not the one person who's not like weirded out by the whole process. That's my only thing. That's
not a terrible take on it, but it's bad. It's not a fun spot. And you want to show everybody how scared they are of Fiend Alexa. You know, have the lights go out, have them come back up. I mean, they probably did this live, so I don't know if they can do any editing with it. But
here's another thing too: is maybe it's a situation where Rhea is aware of it. It's like, okay, if I let her stay in there and these lights go down, we're going to lose.
That could be.
I need to be the person who takes the initiative and gets her out.
My main thing is that moment needs to be spelled out for us to understand.
I know.
Because we can speculate all day, and both scenarios you're talking about are great. They need to spell that out for us a little bit.
Agreed, totally. Ember Moon's in at 28. She hits Shayna with an eclipse.
She's so good.
Nia,
she's so damn good.
She's spectacular. She's such a good wrestler.
She really is.
Nia Jax at 29. She picks up Shayna. They hit the ring. So at this point, Shayna had been sent out of the ring, but she wasn't eliminated. So she picks up Shayna. They hit the ring together. Shayna eliminates Lacey Evans. Nia eliminates Ember Moon. They both toss out Naomi, and then they both toss out Tamina. Then they turn on each other until Rhea gets involved. And then Nia throws Shayna out. Lana comes over. She slaps Nia. Nia comes charging towards her. Lana low bridges her out of the ring to eliminate her.
Mm-hmm.
Natalia's in at 30. So Shayna and Nia destroy her before she gets in as they're kind of leaving. Then they get back on the ring and beat a bunch of the people up. And then they leave. And then they toss Natalya into the ring. And Natalya eliminates Lana.
Yeah.
And then Bianca dumps out Natalya.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Bianca, Rhea, and Charlotte, I believe. So Bianca and Rhea Ripley are just beating up Charlotte.
And the great thing is, it's like all of a sudden, like Charlotte finds herself in this weird position of underdog. And it's
she rather than sells, she hulks out.
She hulks out, dude. It's just she's been watching Hogan documentaries. Just I don't know what's going on with this.
So she hits a exploder suplex on Bianca. She points at the Mania sign.
She pointed at the damn sign.
She lays some shots in on Rhea. Rhea almost eliminates her, and then Bianca is on the verge of eliminating her. She fends both of them off, and they both have to join forces to eliminate Charlotte.
Yeah. So then life goes back to normal. We get two people who are like relatively evenly powered up.
Yeah.
Bianca and Rhea. And like I said, man, God, there was just spot after spot of near elimination. It was so damn good.
They're on the apron, brawling a bit, and like they're both selling, and I think they both realize they're both sitting on the apron. They're like, okay, let's go back on the ring.
Reset.
It's reset. Cooler heads prevail. They get back on the ring. Bianca gets the early advantage, puts Rhea on the top, clocks her, thinking that'll knock her out. Rhea doesn't she staves off elimination, and then she dumps Bianca to the apron. They get back in the ring. They do the thing where they both grab each other's hair while they're running by each other, And so you grab the hair and you kind of swing it around a little bit.
And it was
timed perfectly. It looked spectacular.
Sometimes that spot looks stupid, but it looked great.
It looked really good.
Because they both are athletic. Like Bianca gets up in the air without any, and Rhea, for as big as she is, she's pretty athletic. Like she can get up there too.
She had an Okada level drop kick when she hit the ring.
She did, yeah.
She got up there. So after that, Bianca goes for a glam slam. Rhea escapes that. Rhea goes for a riptide. Bianca escapes that, and then Bianca clotheslines Rhea out of the ring to get the win. And afterwards, Bianca had this great emotional interview, saying, "I've been telling everyone I'm the EST tonight. Showed everybody, and after everything, she's won the Women's Rumble." She tells her parents, Montez, that she did it, and now she's putting the EST in WrestleMania.
It was a beautiful moment. It was like the real est moment, to use her catchphrase. It was honestly like just. Dude, I can't imagine the jetpack that she put on her back to get to this spot. She only started wrestling in 2014 or something like that?
Something like 5 years ago, something like that.
And to get from where she was to where she is now, just on her own, like you can't claim that anybody has, obviously, opportunities open up, but man, she's done it herself every single step of the way. And if the fans were there, they would be just going crazy.
So she signed her NXT contract, WWE contract, April 12th, 2016. So if she has a match day 2 of WrestleMania, almost be 5 years to the day that she signed with the company.
That is unheard of. Like these days, there's so many people who are like, I've been wrestling for 15 years, and now I'm like sniffing at, NXT maybe.
And I just got signed by NXT, I know.
Yeah, how many people do we see that are starting out, oh, this guy's got 15 years of experience, because NXT signs only people in like they're 35. But, Bianca is, she's something else, man. She's got that charisma that is just absolutely.
And she can deliver in the ring too, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
when she picked up Rhea for to try to do a KOD, it was effortless. It's one thing to have Otis sort of get on her and she's just deadlift, but she just lifted up Rhea like it was nothing. Yeah, she's something else, man.
Yeah, she is. After that, Miz and Morrison, they're backstage trying to recruit Bad Bunny to their brand. The Miz is talking crap about Booker T. He sneaks up behind Miz and does the tell me you just didn't say that bit. When he's doing that, Morrison just leaves. He just leaves.
He took off, dude.
And then Bad Bunny says, "Hey, good luck in the Rumble."
Booker was in gear. Why wasn't he at the right man? Put him in there.
Have him eliminate Miz. That'd be great.
How about this? Look, I love Ricochet. I love him. He had a qualifier match and he lost. Put Booker T in that spot. I want to see a spinneroonie. Man.
Maybe a situation where they said, "Hey, Booker, you want to be in the Rumble?" No, man. Put some of the current roster members in.
Man, Booker T is a businessman. You think he's going to pass up an opportunity? He'd get in there. Get out of here. I don't know. Maybe you're right. After that, we had what I thought was going to be, I'll be honest, man, I thought it was going to be a long, slow, boring-ass match, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens.
Brutal.
Look, their feud has been great, but it's a last man standing match, which means there's a lot of counting to 10, right, or to 9. This match was great. This should have been on GCW's Fight Forever. This was terrific. This was terrific, and yeah, it was brutal. Man, so they start off battling. Well, you said, I think before the bell even rang, wasn't there a bunch of fighting or something? Or you just said they started fighting and then the bell rang 30 seconds?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Early on, Owens hits a pop-up powerbomb. Let's just skip ahead to when they're actually fighting in the Thunderdome. So they start brawling by the Thunderdome. Owens is he puts Reigns on the table, is about to jump off. Reigns gets off, pokes him in the eye, gets up there. They're brawling up in the stands quite a bit. Eventually, Reigns tosses Owens off through that table that he had put Reigns on earlier, 3 more levels up. It was pretty damn high.
It was pretty
Owens beats the 10 count. And so he's crawling backstage in this backstage area, which is the outfield, the Tropicana field.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting to see that, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a second ring set up there, maybe to rehearse the Rumble.
Could be.
And Owens is getting to his feet, and Roman comes in on a golf cart.
That was the most unexpected. There was no establishing shot of this, mind you. It was just he came in screen right and just blasted Kevin
goes through the windshield.
He goes through the windshield. I think it knocked Roman in the mouth because after that he had like blood coming out of his mouth. But that was so unexpected. And it was a delight. It was an absolute delight. Fantastic. So after that, they do a bit where they battle some more. Kevin Owens puts Roman Reigns onto a table on like a 2 tables set up next to each other. He finds a ladder, but then looks next to the ladder. There's a forklift. And he's like, oh, okay. So he goes on the forklift. He raises it up, goes up to the top of the forklift, and he does a senton off that. Comes crashing through the table. Absolutely, absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. So they battle out some more, go back, or they're still backstage. There's like a truss, like a lighting truss there. And Kevin Owens gets out some handcuffs. And
Reigns had the handcuffs. Reigns had
okay. Mm-hmm. So he handcuffs Roman Reigns to the very bottom portion of it. So Reigns can't, and like sort of towards the middle, so he can't get on his feet. He physically can't. Danilo, the ref, is out there, starts to count. He gets to 9, and in desperation, Roman Reigns grabs him and tosses him, and so he hits his head on the light. So we get a ref bump. Another ref eventually comes out, and I forget if the ref shows up before Heyman. I think Heyman shows up before the ref.
Yeah.
So Heyman goes there.
The ref starts counting, and then about 5, he's like, okay, this is going to take a long time, and you just don't see him.
Yeah.
While Heyman tries to uncuff Roman.
It was totally a botched ending. Heyman was probably supposed to get those handcuffs off by the time the ref got to 10.
I mean, like, handcuff keys are so small.
And the placement in his little chubby hands trying to get to this like hand. They maybe they practiced it beforehand, and sometimes things just line up during practice. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they practiced with Jay earlier in the week, and Jay couldn't make it, and Paul Heyman had to come in and sub in. I don't know. Could be. Or
maybe a situation where like, okay, we're gonna do this. Do you think you can do this? Yeah, I could do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who knows how extensive the rehearsals are. So anyways, Heyman eventually gets the handcuffs undone, and then Roman just puts a guillotine on Kevin Owens. Owens passes out. Ref counts 10. Roman wins.
Yep.
So it was a clean win for Roman, pretty much. Puts an end to this feud. And then now, starting with Elimination Chamber, we should find out who Reigns' opponent is going to be for WrestleMania. Yeah,
it'll be, yeah. I think you're right about, Raw needs the ratings with Edge. I don't, dude. I mean, there's still, 2 more pay-per-views between now and Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're going to do, I mean, there's any number of ways they could do this. I'll put it this way. Something tells me they decided on Edge winning the Rumble, and they haven't figured out the rest yet. We'd heard through either Fightful or whoever.
It was Meltzer said that the one decision they had made was Roman's opponent.
Okay. So they probably know that Edge, he's won. You can either get the title off Drew. You can do face versus face. You can, you can do that. You can have Edge versus Orton for the title and have Orton come away with that title somehow and do Fiend. You can have Fiend beat Drew in the meantime and have Edge versus the Fiend. I don't know. You can do this a million different ways. My gut tells me right now it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Edge, and they're just going to do face versus face, and it's going to get chippy. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Who knows?
Is that what your gut's telling you right now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Edge and Drew because I think more than anything else, Raw needs the ratings help. On SmackDown, there's a pretty decent amount of people they can put in a chamber match to determine number 1 contender. And if they really want to get some more star power for Mania for Roman, they can always just write a huge check for Brock because there'll be some fans at Mania or try to write a huge check to Brock and see if they can do Roman Brock. Mm-hmm. That's still a possibility. Yeah. Or I guess maybe Bill. Who knows? So the men's rumble was next. Edge, Orton, as announced, came out 1 and 2. Just a massive brawl to start. They're going all over the place. Sammy's out at 3. He and Orton kind of double team Edge for a spell. Ali's in at 4. All 3 of them
they continue to double team on Edge.
Up on Edge. Jeff Hardy's out at 5.
Itchweed is at number 5.
Yeah, Willow. Pretty soon after he's in, Sammy pushes him into an RKO. Then Randy hits Sammy with an RKO, and then one for Edge. No, sorry, Edge hits Randy with a spear. Edge takes their brawling to the announce table. On top of it, Randy tries for an RKO. Edge blocks it, hits a DDT, and then takes a chair to his leg. Dolph comes out at 6. He eliminates Hardy. Or Nakamura's at 7. Meanwhile, refs come out to help Orton out. He's limping.
And yeah, they did a really good job at first, working us a little bit.
They cut too much.
Yeah, they did. They
cut
did.
too
Usually
much.
they don't like to spotlight things like this. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a real injury, they just kind of like keep the camera off it.
So Nakamura's in at 7. Carlito, Swolito, jacked Carlito in his old age.
Huge.
He's probably just like late 30s or something. Carlito's in at number 8. Xavier Woods in at number 9. Big E's in at number 10. We get a New Day bit with Big E and Woods hitting some moves on Sami Zayn. The New Day together eliminates Sami Zayn. Mustafa Ali eliminates Xavier Woods. Big E, pissed, eliminates Mustafa Ali.
And Morrison comes in at 11 right in between all that, yeah.
Yeah, he comes in at number 11. We get Ricochet at number 12. Elias at number 11. He eliminates Carlito. Damian Priest comes in at number 12.
He had a great showing.
He goes on a roll.
He might have had most eliminations.
I think he had most eliminations, yeah. So because it was Braun almost did, but he ended up
with 3, and I think Priest had 4, right?
Yeah, Priest had 4. Braun had 3. And then who had most eliminations in the Women's Rumble? Was it Rhea?
I think it was Rhea.
Was it Rhea?
Rhea was 6 or so. Yeah.
Oh wow. So Priest eliminates Elias. Miz comes out at number 15. First he eliminates Bad Bunny's DJ gear, and then Damian Priest eliminates Miz.
Bad Bunny comes out
right.
upset and distracts Miz, and then Priest eliminates Miz and Morrison.
And Morrison together, yeah. Riddle comes out.
Bad Bunny goes to the top rope, takes out Miz and Morrison after they've been eliminated.
That's right. That was good. He almost slipped too. That was scary.
He did almost slip.
But good for him from the year 2032. Riddle comes out at number 16. Daniel Bryan's out at number 17. And his old Team Hell No partner, Kane, comes out at number 18. They do the big hug. But then immediately after, Kane gives Daniel Bryan a choke slam.
Yeah.
Damian Priest steps up to Kane. Arrow thing.
Yeah.
And then Priest eliminates Kane.
Before Kane was eliminated, he did eliminate Dolph and Ricochet.
Oh, that's what I missed. Okay.
Baron's in at 19. He eliminates Nakamura. Otis in at 20. He's not in the Rumble very long. Baron eliminates him while he's going for a Vader bomb. Dominic in at 21. He eliminates Baron. Bob Lashley's in at 22. He just basically throws Dominic over the top rope.
This dude started eliminating in the harshest fashion.
Yeah, so he tosses Dom out. He eliminates Priest. He's about to have a showdown with Big E. They're going at it. Riddle joins in. Hurricane in at 23.
Stand back. There's a hurricane.
He tries to do a choke slam on Big E and Lashley. Instead, they both toss him out. Christian's in at 24. Christian!
He looked great.
Yeah, he looked the exact same he did 10 years ago. Man.
I know he had when he had that match against, this was interesting, man, because it was 6 months ago that he had that deal with Orton. He wore a shirt for his match. You think, okay, well, hey, he's retired. I'm not going to talk shit about the guy. He still looks great for his age, but I'd wear a shirt too. Man, so he's cleared. Has he spoke before on if he's cleared and he just didn't want to, or he just was okay with?
I don't know. Because it's concussions with him.
Yeah, but he was in there. He was he
was taking bumps.
Yeah, he was in there for a while. Yeah.
So he comes out he was in the Final Four, kind of, but Orton came out, so I guess he wasn't in quite the Final Four.
Well, yeah, but he was in the Final Five even. So he comes out at number 24, and then they all gang up to eliminate Lashley together because he's the monster in there. And then when all that smoke clears, Edge and Christian, they see each other longingly, and they hug, and it's a beautiful moment.
It's a lovely moment,
And then asshole AJ Styles at number 25 with a moss comes out. Edge spears AJ. We get Ray in at number 26. Amos reaches over and eliminates Big E.
Just pulls him out of the ring.
Yeah. Sheamus in at number 27. Amos eliminates Rey Mysterio as well.
Yeah, again, just pulls him out of the ring.
Cesaro at number 28. We get a T-Bar reunion, but immediately Cesaro takes him down, gives Sheamus a swing, then Bryan a swing, and then the returning Seth Rollins.
They have the same theme song.
At number 29, And then Braun Strowman at number 30. They do a bit. You'd prognosticated this one that Amos caught AJ. So that happens. Braun eliminates Cesaro. Braun eliminates Sheamus. Braun eliminates AJ. Brian and Riddle. Oh, Brian almost got Edge out, but then Brian and Riddle went at it.
That was fantastic.
They
were throwing some stiff shots. They do some great technical wrestling on the mat. It was fast. It was fluid. It was really good.
It was great. Yeah, it was really great. Samoa Joe was really having fun with that on the commentary.
Daniel Bryan hits with a missile drop kick. Seth goes after Daniel Bryan, hits him with a stomp, tosses him out. Riddle's on the apron too. Seth stomps Riddle to eliminate him. And then so it's Seth, it's Braun, it's Edge, it's Christian. So Seth is trying to recruit Braun to help him out. Instead, Braun power bombs him. He takes it to Edge and Christian. So Christian is trying to dump Braun out. Seth comes over, helps him, but dumps Christian and Braun out. And then Edge dumps out Seth. So Edge thinks he's won. Orton runs back in, hits Edge with an RKO. Gets Edge up, and Edge just tosses Orton out. Edge wins the Men's Rumble.
Yep.
You think you know me.
And, dude, the emotion on his face when the fireworks are going off and he's pointing at the sign, man, a beautiful, beautiful moment for Edge. So that was awesome. And, again, man, the fans were there. Fans are there. Could have been pretty awesome.
It would have been pretty cool. Pretty cool.
We'll answer a couple questions here for a couple minutes in the Twitch chat.
Tom Pisano with the sub. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom Pisano.
Sad Crag with the sub.
Broken wheelchair. So Charlotte is going to go after Lacey, who goes after Asuka for the women's Raw belt. Charlotte's going to get rid of Lacey before she goes after the women's Raw belt, but that's going to happen.
Yeah. Evil Penguin says Bianca winning from the Ric Flair spot, number 3.
Yeah. Nirvana fan, if you guys could go back in time and change any multi-time Rumble winner to someone who hasn't won the Rumble, who would it be? I would give Stone Cold Steve Austin one of his Rumble wins and give it to Razor Ramon, who was never even in a Rumble.
Yeah,
I learned that today.
I would give Orton's second Rumble win that led to his match against Bray and give it to... What was the other huge story that year? What was the other title match? It was...
We were there.
Oh, it was Brock. It was Brock and Goldberg.
Yeah.
Luke Harper should have won that Rumble.
Yes. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Zutanius with the sub. Thank you very much. Struggle Buff with sub. Thank you. You Rebel says, I really want Edge to challenge for the tag titles with Christian.
They don't really have a whole lot of tag titles, or tag teams, rather. Let's see here.
Haha Jackson with a bunch of bits says, Power Rank the scary ending they were planning and clearly didn't use.
So, John Alba from the Living the Gimmick podcast, you should go check him out on the Patreon.
Yes.
Because you get those great notifications when he's got new news.
Yep.
He had mentioned through that this morning that he doesn't have specifics, or he wasn't willing to reveal them. If he did, he said it was more a conceptual difference with how the Rumble usually is won in the end. Now, with that information, assuming they had chosen the winner first and then decided on the finish, and somebody pitches, he also said that finish idea was shot down immediately. I guess we could speculate what that could have been. I had early speculated that it could have been like a Fiend type finish where there were supernatural powers involved. Knowing that Orton, I don't know. I mean, Orton, left the Rumble, came back in.
I don't know if they would have done something where the Fiend teleported Orton out or something like that. Lights come down, come back up, Orton's on the outside. That's
very possible. Lights come down, lights come up, he's out. What a terrible finish. I wonder if if that's the case. Awful. Like, yeah, somebody needs to get fired for that one.
E-Dub, can AJ win the title to face Edge? I mean, they just had Drew beat Goldberg clean. I think Drew is getting that Mania match.
It seems like it. It'd be weird if he didn't. It'd be like a failure if he didn't. he should get it. And I think that him and Edge have enough personality. You don't need a straight up babyface versus heel thing.
Brigadoon says, I was wondering if Bayley wasn't meant to be eliminated there.
I don't think that was the case.
I mean, her reaction was there was no. It didn't seem like there was any hesitation in her reaction to being eliminated, nor from Bianca. You know,
you would probably notice if an elimination felt botchy. You know, like you're doing the skin in the cat thing.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't supposed to happen, they could have just not cut to it.
Yeah, that's a huge on the fly moment, though.
Oh, it is.
You know. CX City, what's the plan now for Big E?
Well, if they have a chamber match to determine number one contender, he'll be number one contender. He'll probably be in that.
I think that they are, just in a general sense, and it's difficult to get a read because there's no fans there. But Big E, they are seeing if they feel like him as solo guy works, or how far they think they can take it, or what they need to tweak. Right now, he's solo guy as champion. And they're seeing what needs to happen for him to get to the next level. Is it on him? Is it on creative? You know, Sami Zayn right now has something that is so fresh, and he's doing such a great job with it. It's hard for Big E not to be a little bit overshadowed by that. And I'm not necessarily saying for us. I'm saying you can kind of understand what Vince likes. By the amount of screen time they get. They literally had Sami Zayn come out on SmackDown, handcuff himself to a barricade, and be in the background of every segment for the first 30 minutes. Vince likes him. Vince likes Billie Kay by how much she's just everywhere on SmackDown and tonight in the Rumble. And it all comes down to who Vince really loves. And sometimes he'll give stuff a shot, but he won't really give it a fair shot because he's obsessed with something else. Take a look at Money in the Bank this past year. You know, he's obsessed with Otis.
Well, I mean, there on several instances, especially with Money in the Bank, where someone's won it and he like basically instantly had buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
And that's also a thing, you know, with Sammy. He's a heel with a really interesting character that he's obviously like really digging into and having fun with it. Heels just get to have more fun by and large.
That's true too. That's absolutely true.
Especially the way WWE books their faces. Not to say, because I mean, E is anything but a boring smiling baby face. Like there's dimension to his character.
It just feels like they're not giving him anything to really sink his teeth into right now. And you need that. And it's not the performer's fault if creative doesn't give that. But sometimes, like you said, heels, especially if they have something really good to sink their teeth into, and with a talent like Sami Zayn, it's hard for that not to be overshadowed. And I just fear that Sammy's just going to get that title, but like they're going to end up at the multi-man match at WrestleMania for the IC title, and Sammy's going to get that back.
I mean, that's the possibility. The hope would be then, okay, that happens. Now let's move Big E up to something that has a little more meat to it for him, you know?
Yeah, but moving up means moving to Roman, and Roman ain't getting rid of that title anytime soon.
Yeah, no. That guy Blue 420 with a sub. Thank you. Dabo the boy Harm, 28. Thank you so much for the sub. The Brandon with the sub too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see here. Ordile with some speculation. Maybe when the news came out of a Peyton Royce push, Vince didn't know which was which when he split up the Iconics. I don't know. Something tells me he saw, like, Peyton was doing the bodybuilding stuff, and I just get Vince is a sucker for bodybuilders. I firmly believe that's a distinct possibility that he saw that.
He tried to start his own bodybuilding federation. He did. It didn't work out too well.
Oh, look at this. Look at her. She could be a huge star because of her bodybuilding. She could be the next Lex Luger. And then he splits him up, and he's like, he sees this great stuff Billie Kay's doing. He's like, dude, she commands the camera every time.
Mm-hmm.
Anonymous gifter with a bunch of subs here. Johnny B,
wow.
The Super Cal, Kelly AFU, and RJ80, and This is Berman. Thank you so much, Twitch chat. We're going to stick around for a little bit longer and answer more of your questions. The rest of you, thanks so much for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Join us tomorrow night for
tomorrow at noon too.
Oh yeah, we're doing our news beef tomorrow at noon.
News beef.
We're going to have a New Japan New Beginning rundown.
Yeah, I gotta watch
Whiskey
that in the
and
morning.
Waffles just rated us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Our old friend John from Whiskey and Waffles. Thank you so much, man. Hope
Thank
you're
you
doing
so
good.
much.
Hope you enjoyed the
you're doing
Rumble
good, John. Hope
tonight.
you're doing good, man.
We are, however, leaving, but all you raiders, welcome. Sub to or follow the channel, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow at noon.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.